and injuring 16 others near Mulai, outskirts of Maiduguri, Borno State. In another development, a fire outbreak has gutted the Ondo State Governor's office in Akure. The fire was caused by a power surge in the anteroom of the state's Executive Council chambers. Dapo Daramola reports that Governor Olusegun Mimiko escaped unhurt. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate alleged violation of the Public Procurement Act in the Presidential Amnesty Program. The resolution came in a motion on the matter of urgent public importance moved by Representative Solomon Marin from Plateau State. The House also condemned the non-payment of allowances of some of the beneficiaries of the program and mandated its Committee on Public Procurement and Niger Delta to investigate the matter and report to the House within 4 weeks.
The entire presidential amnesty program has not been subjected to the statutory and mandatory public procurement processes. As a result, most contracts between 2011 and 2015 were awarded to fictitious contractors.
The House passed for second reading a bill for an act to alter Section 16 and 33 of the 1999 Constitution, which seeks to make provision for rights to food and security in Nigeria. The bill was sponsored by Representative Stephanus Gyang from Plateau State.
Towards ensuring that A, the means of production, conservation, and distribution of food are upgraded and improved upon on a continuous basis.
National Hajj Commission is to refund about 1.7 billion naira to states' Hajj commissions for services not rendered during last year's Hajj exercise. Chairman of the commission, Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed, stated this at an interactive meeting with the House Committee on Public Procurement. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The conference is meant to provide an overview of the whole process of the conference is also drawing contributions from other allied organizations, all with the aim of improving the nation's election processes. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
That was Femi Okeowo's report. We apologize for that mix-up. We'll now take the story on the House on procurement. National Hajj Commission is to refund about 1.7 billion naira to states' Hajj commissions for services not rendered during last year's Hajj exercise. Chairman of the Commission, Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed, stated this at an interactive meeting with the House Committee on Public Procurement. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu now reports.
Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed says the money will be paid back to pilgrims and intended pilgrims for services not rendered by airlines and other licensed companies.
Any activity we carry out here that has to do with procurement activity, we do that in compliance with the provision of the Procurement Act.
Nobody that is saying they shouldn't spend money appropriated to them. But we're always saying that, please, be transparent in spending taxpayers' money.
Among the successes recorded by the Commission, according to the chairman, is the introduction of a Hajj Development Levy Fund, which stands at 1.4 billion naira from 2012 to date for development of capital projects. Director General National Office for Technology Acquisition and Promotion, NOTAP, Dangazimi Ibrahim, had told the committee that 5 people are currently benefiting under the NOTAP Industrial Technology Transfer Fellowship.
These interactions have seen areas where we have to strengthen our regulatory efforts.
The committee, however, asked Director General National Center for Technology Management, Professor Okechukwu Okuoma, to present documents of capital projects by the agency next week. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Election matters next. Accreditation and voting will take place simultaneously during the forthcoming elections in Rivers State. The Director of Voter Education of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Oluwole Osaze Uzi, who was among guests on the NTA's Current Affairs program Good Morning Nigeria, disclosed this. Salihu Abdullahi monitored the program on the security situation in Rivers State ahead of Saturday polls.
The guests were unanimous in their submission that government, through its electoral umpire,
Delta has always been a volatile area. We have a security that is supposed to exist every minute that we live in this country.
These allegations that people with fraternal interests are on the list of ad hoc staff cannot and should not be brushed aside.
The Inspector General of Police have been very magnanimous to the command. Squadron commanders are coming from the PMF. Counter-terrorist units have been added to the one on the ground. EOD, Explosive Ordnance Department personnel, are also on the ground.
they however encouraged the people of Rivers not to see the forthcoming election as a do-or-die affairs. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
In another development, following postponement of the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections to April 9, 2016, Minister of the FCT, Mohammed Musa Bello, has stressed that no act of violence or antisocial behavior will be tolerated. He gave the assurance while intimating the House Committee on the FCT of the level of preparedness ahead of the elections. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adekunloye reports.
Members are concerned that INEC is becoming synonymous with postponements, although they understand that for the avoidance of any breakdown in law and order, shifts in dates are sometimes necessary. They, however, urge the minister to ensure full cooperation between INEC and security agencies ahead of the election.
For INEC to function effectively, it relies 100% on other agencies of government.
The FCT minister assured that the city will not be brought to shame by acts of thuggery and sabotage, and a well-coordinated synergy to ensure free and credible elections will be achieved.
We are going to monitor the election, make sure that we'll do just that. In the FCT, it's a federal INEC, not CF. So election must be free and fair. We have international communities, we have human rights, we have so many people that are here that would like to monitor this election.
The FCT Area Council elections had earlier been scheduled to hold on March 19, 2016, but to adequately prepare for and avoid a repeat of violence seen in Abuja, they will now hold on April.
While expressing concern over the dwindling revenue accruing to the state from the Federation account, the governors resolved to explore more avenues to tap from the vast natural resources available in the zone. They also decried high level of poverty, unemployment, and insecurity, as well as kidnapping in the zone, at the pledge to overcome the problem. In Katsina, Amin Ishaq Abbas, NTA News.
A service of songs will be held for the departed Minister of State, Labor and Employment this evening at the National Christian Center, Abuja. This is in the federal government's announcement in the funeral program of the late Minister of State Labor for him, his wife Blessing, and son Joshua, who died in a fatal motor accident. A statement from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, who is the chairman of the burial committee, says the bodies will leave National Hospital on Thursday, 17th March 2016, for another special court session at Kogi State High Court of Justice, Lokoja, after which the remains will depart Lokoja for Abocho, Dekina local government area of Kogi State, where Christian wake, tributes, praise, worship, and testimonies will take place. The late minister, his wife and son will lie in state at his country home in Abuja on Friday, 18th March, where funeral service is also slated for 10 a.m. at the local government area primary school, and they will be committed to Mother Earth immediately after the funeral service. Update on Ricky Tafa in court from Lagos Network Center as Ademola stands by with details. Good to see you, Ademola. Over to you.
Good to see you too, Lydia. Good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. The Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has asked a prominent lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria to first defend the criminal charges against him at the Lagos High Court before pursuing civil damages against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Justice Mohammed Idris of the Federal High Court at the hearing of the 2.5 billion naira fundamental human rights enforcement suit filed by Ricky Tafa against the EFCC said his right does not stand above the country, the state, and the people.
Advocate of Nigeria, Ricky Tafa, has sued the EFCC for 2.5 billion naira for allegedly violating his rights after he was arrested for shielding two Benin suspects in his Mercedes-Benz sport utility SUV from arrest. Justice Mohammed Idris of the Federal High Court upheld the EFCC preliminary objection to Tafa's suit. He said although Tafa has the guaranteed right to be heard fairly and expeditiously, his fundamental rights suit does not supersede the criminal charge. Justice Idris said a substantial part of the relief sought in the civil suit has a direct bearing on the charge against Tafa. He said Tafa's phones and vehicles, which the learned senior advocate prayed the court to order their release, had been listed as exhibits in the criminal case. The judge also explained that data retrieved from the mobile handsets are to be used as evidence in the criminal charge pending before
remains paramount.
We need an industry where the industry is freed and empowered to be what it can be.
And the private sector man who knows is going to pay government for that investment must find a way on how to work it.
The experts are of the opinion that if total deregulation takes effect, the private sector will attract the required investment to make Nigeria a hub for the export of refined petroleum products.
The moment we have Nigeria as a net exporter of products, then of course this whole thing will begin to fall apart.
Even all those who are importing and other investors will be encouraged to go into refinery.
The interactive session brought together major players in the oil and gas sector of the Nigerian economy.
Nigerian women say the only solution to gender issue at all spheres of governance is the actualization of the goals of gender parity. This was the consensus of speakers at the celebration of this year's International Women's Day by the Labour Movement of the Nigerian Labour Congress in commemoration of Women History Month.
The sordid condition of women globally have called for urgent need to close the wide gender gap. In Nigeria, gender-related violence against women and girls like abduction, forced and underage marriage, rape, and other forms of sexual assault are still under increase. The forum provided opportunity to reawaken the society to take seriously the issue of women and girls' empowerment. It is also to
Demola. Experts in the building and construction sector are calling for the enactment of a national building law to address the incessant cases of building collapse in the country. Talatu Ezerike reports that they were speaking on NTA Current Affairs program Tuesday Live.
Experts say that building collapse, a global phenomenon, has become rampant and more devastating in developing countries. Nigeria is not left out in this. The outcome of which the experts say impact on socio-economic life, and that over 80% of the cases is attributed to man-made factors tied to negligence.
Between 2004 and 2015, and there have been 82 collapses. It's only in one project that engineers were involved. And these engineers, they are both undergoing both criminal and professional trial currently. To have an MOU with the ICPC, because most often the people who get involved in houses that collapse are not small boys.
There are apprehensions over the inability to achieve the desired results in spite of government's efforts to tackle building collapse.
There are people who compromise. I think that's one of the key factors. Of course, the substandard building materials also contribute. If in the first place they are not being allowed into the country,
why should we have that?
The quack or the unprofessional may not even see them to use.
Everybody must be accountable. And the people, because it's of no point for you to see a building marked with X and you still go there and negotiate.
Analysts strongly believe that the way out is for the entrenchment of a national building law, non-compromised by professionals, and severe punishment for those found wanting in issues of building collapse. Talati Ezerike, NTA News.
So now to matters of health. People of Miso Emirate in Miso local government area of Bauchi State came out in their thousands to receive free medical treatment brought to their doorstep by the Medical Corps of the Nigerian Navy during a medical outreach organized by the service. Defense correspondent KG Busari Ahmed reports that the leader of the team and Director of Medical Services, Rear Admiral Jeremiah Onubi, said the outreach was part of the service civil-military relations.
Beneficiaries of the Nigerian Navy medical outreach, mostly women, came out en masse to assess various treatments which the Director
at enhancing civil-military relations. And of course, it's a corporate social responsibility to the people. KG Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
Let's pause for some messages. Nationwide will continue shortly. Stay with us.
Bomb explosion or gunshots of an active shooter. That might be a terror attack. At such times, always remember 3 action words. Run, hide, report. Don't try to run towards the terror scene to save the situation, because there might be a second bomb blast or another attack. Run far away and take cover. Make sure you are safe first. Yes, it is in our nature to sympathize over the hurt, but remember, only trained personnel can help in such situations. When in a secured environment, promptly call relevant authorities and help will come. For anonymous reporting, call 09630-3250-5 or 0813-2222-106. If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Our founding fathers worked to establish certain standards of governance. Some of their successors behaved like spoiled children, breaking everything and bringing disorder to the house.
The leaders at that time, as well as those of us that followed them, were patriotic. They went into politics to serve, but not to be served.
It is people doing things wrong and not being sanctioned that led to this escalation.
What is going on now? We are beginning to lift up the quality of leadership.
We must not succumb to hopelessness and defeatism. We can fix our problems.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can.
Nigeria of our dream.
This message is from the Nigeria Police Force.
Fashanou trying a shot, and he's got in. John Fashanou. John Fashanou's 5th goal of the season, and what a spectacular.
Great Nigerian people, great Nigerian products, all made in Nigeria.
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 Tonight, made in Nigeria. Quality is guaranteed.
Nice, made in Nigerian good.
Made in Nigeria is where we are going now.
We're going to come to Made in Nigeria TV Expo and Exhibition in April 2016, where we shell for the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. Features include grand opening ceremony, live concert, and showcasing of many Ogbonge quality products from our expert manufacturers and states. 5 days of TV Expo and Exhibition for Made in Nigeria products and services. For further inquiries, we're going to contact our contact platforms or visit any NTA station near you. Think international because our products are going international.
This week on Airtel Touching Lives, we visit a computer.
The state governor, Abdulaziz Yari Abubakar, disclosed this after inspecting the ongoing massive replacement of water pipes at the Gusau water barrage. Jamilu Ibrahim Gusau has more.
It could be recalled that over 570 water pipes were washed away by flood at the Gusau water barrage during the 2015 rainy season. Consequently, the Zamfara state government recently embarked on massive replacement of the washed away plastic pipes with ductile iron ones for the restoration of normal water supply to every nook and cranny of the town. Governor Abdulaziz Yari, along with some members of the State Executive Council, was at the project site to assess the progress of the work so far.
It's becoming important for government to make sure that the supply is steady. That's why we expand the project. The way the work is going, we can see a very excellent progress.
Zamfara State Commissioner of Water Resources, Alhaji Sanda Muhammad Danjari, and the Managing Director of the State Water Board, Engineer Sani Mustafa, who took the governor around, they assured that the project, which is built to be completed before the end of this month, would tremendously improve the quality and quantity of water being supplied to people in Gusau and environs. From Gusau, Jamil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Women in Sokoto State have resolved to give their total support to programs of the state government, particularly those aimed at uplifting the living condition of women. Speaking on the occasion of International Women's Day celebration, wife of the state governor, Maria Aminu Waziri Tambol, assured them of the present administration's commitment to programs that champion the cause of women in the state. Safia Abdullahi has more.
Marking the day in Sokoto State,
over 650 rustled animals have been recovered during an operation in some local government areas of Zamfara State by the Joint Military Task Force against cattle rustling. Handing over the animals to Zamfara State government, the commanding officer, Military Brigade Command Sokoto, Brigadier General Olufumilola Shole, disclosed that 2 of the suspected rustlers were killed during the operation. Jamilu Ibrahim has the details.
The task force led by Commanding Officer 223 Battalion Gusau has smashed a gang of suspected cattle rustlers during an operation in Gusau and Safi local government areas of the state, after which a total of 655 animals were recovered. Commanding Officer 1 Military Brigade Command Sokoto, Brigadier General Olufumilola Shole, handed over the recovered animals to Zamfara State government.
We made some recovery in terms of motorcycles as well, arms and ammunition from some of the bandit camps. 2 bandits were killed. We have 2 arrested, which will hand over to the Department of State Services.
On behalf of the government and people of Zamfara State, I have the privilege and honor to extend our profound gratitude and appreciation to the joint security operation for this achievement.
The 655 recovered animals, comprising 387 cows, 258 sheep, 11 donkeys and 1 goat, are now in the custody of a special committee set up by the Zamfara State government to ascertain and hand them over to their rightful owners. From Gusau, Jamil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to you, Lydia. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Zainab. Nigeria joins the rest of the world to commemorate the International Social Workers Day with a call on the National Assembly to assent to the Social Workers Bill pending before it. Timothy Yusuf reports on the special day with focus on upholding the dignity of people.
The day set aside by the United Nations aims at celebrating social works and workers, as well as to give a thought to the numerous clients or service users around the world. With this year's focus on upholding the dignity of people, the Nigeria Association of Social Workers leveraged the moment to address 2 out of the numerous social problems of drug and child abuses bedeviling the society. The FCT was cited as a case study.
So far, I don't eliminate addiction of drug in our society among the young people, then you have a country that is already getting into crisis.
The association believes that the FCT is increasing in complexity daily, and so is the social problems with its interwoven connectivity.
Let's use the power that we have to fight these issues, because if we don't fight it, it will come back to bite us.
The called for partnership with media practitioners, entertainers, faith-based organizations, school administrators, international organizations, and development partners.
They should protect will be hurt than the people they seek to protect.
The minister further directed the distribution companies to complete metering of electricity consumers to end the cases of estimated billings and overbilling of customers. Mr. Fashola also appealed to Nigerians to bear with the sector in the face of the current energy crisis, as efforts are on to restore normalcy.
Not only am I going around to understand what the problems are, I'm at Uguaji now in Enugu State. I'm going around to understand what I am supposed to manage. I've been briefed in paper, in files, and in memo. And I'm going from power plant to power plant to transmission site to transmission site. What I see convinces me that this problem can be solved.
He wants Nigerians to desist from making payments for services that are free of charges. In Enugu, Chinyere Okoye, NTA News.
The Commissioner of Police, Enugu State Command, Mr. Nwodibo Ekechukwu, says the command is determined to rid the state of criminals and criminal activities, as well as ensure the security of lives and property of the people of the state. He was speaking while parading suspects. Chinenye Moye tells us more.
The Commissioner of Police said following intelligence reports, the officers and men arrested some syndicates who were involved in the kidnap of one Mrs. Makata Elochukwu and her driver along Nsukka axis. Mr. Nwodibo Ekechukwu also briefed newsmen of the arrest of a suspect, Mr. Sunday Oka, who claims to be a
kidnapping, or so it is 15 years imprisonment.
A motion moved by Gbenga Oyekola emphasized the need to promote the use of Yoruba language, especially in primary and secondary schools. Lawmakers deliberated on the motion in Yoruba language, stressing the importance of the mother tongue and protecting it from going into extinction.
The Nigerian army says it will not rest on its oars until insurgency becomes a thing of the past in the country. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says this during his familiarization tour of army formations in Ibadan. Correspondent Olumide Guntola reports.
The visit of Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, to the headquarters 2 Division Nigerian Army is to encourage officers and men of the Nigerian Army and to boost their morale for optimal performance in their chosen career. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, first point of call was the Oyo State Secretariat, where the Deputy Governor, Moses Adeyemo, received the Army Chief on behalf of the people of the state.
Oyo State is one of the states in Nigeria today that is very peaceful. Because if you know the history of Oyo State, in the yesteryears, it was not as easy. But thank God that things are going very well.
At the headquarters 2 Division Nigerian Army, Udegbe Barracks,
We have some literate consumers also who do not want to take it upon themselves, say, oh, how much is it? Why do I need to complain? Let me go and buy another one.
You bought an electronics, you got to, before you even leave it, we would have tested for you. But there's a situation whereby we've tested it and all that. You got to maybe use for a week and it's not working again. You still have your receipt with you. You bring it back to us.
Although various agencies have been put in place to protect consumers' rights on goods and services, how much do consumers know about their rights and how to seek redress in case of abuses?
But I know that there is a council called Consumer Protection Council. But I'm not too sure whether those people have anything to do in terms of protecting my own rights.
I don't really like things that I can't test. You have to put it to test. I should be sure it's working before taking it from where I'm buying it.
Analysts have observed that the society will be free of fake and substandard goods and services only when citizens mobilize to protest market abuses and social injustices against consumers' rights. The theme for this year's World Consumer Rights Day is Antibiotics of the Meal, to call for global commitment to stop raising animals with routine antibiotics important to human medicine. In Ibadan, Kemioshi, NTA News.
The Thanksgiving ceremony of the marriage between Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, with his new bride, Wuraola Ogunwusi, attracted eminent personalities. Correspondent Rotimi Akamo witnessed the event.
The assembly of important personalities that are present at the Thanksgiving ceremony of the marriage between Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Ogunwusi, and Wuraola Ogunwusi speak volume about the event. Oba Ogunwusi, who was full of joy, attributed the marriage to act of God.
The wedding too is bringing unity between Yoruba, Ife land and Benin Kingdom. We're one.
The family of the groom advised the new couple.
The only appeal I can give is that they should do everything according to the will of God.
We can only wish them a happy married life.
Traditional rulers present at the event
of Islamic militants in West Africa. For Global Tidbits, Ronke Kolawole, NTA News.
Sports is next. Nigeria Olympic Committee holds seminar for scribes of sports federations as Premier Basketball set to commence this week without 3 Lagos clubs. Kene Emagbodike reports.
All is now set for the commencement of the 2016 DStv Basketball Premier League, which dunks off on Friday with only 5 teams in the Atlantic Conference participating. The Nigerian Basketball Federation says the league was delayed for 1 week due to the suspension of 3 teams, namely Lagos Islanders, Union Bank and Jordan Warriors, who opted to play in the African Basketball League, considered illegal by the Federation. However, Savannah Conference will go on with the usual 8 teams registered for the season.